So I just want to show you this last thing from this angle here. How everything again under this is just, and under this road is just remains of the giant trees, okay? You see here? Everything goes in under the ground. So I'm going to pause it here and go around, so hold on. Okay, so I'm more of a angle here where you can see. Remember, everything breaks off flat. You see how it goes under the ground. All this just goes back up in there. It's just everywhere. So all this under here. Got dogs under my feet hitting me. So you see this piece right there? That's just one little sliver of a ring of a fallen tree. Okay, I'll put a picture in right here. At least I'll try to show you what that is. But you see how it just goes into the ground and just a thin layer of vegetation covers everything. You know, and you got, for some reason, you got this single piece right up here, but back behind it, along that hill, is just a whole bunch more. Remember how it just breaks off flat, just little pieces. Well, it's not little, but it's a little compared to what it came from. All that hillside, underneath the road, underneath here, the grassland everywhere. Let me try to go over here a little bit. Let me pause it a second. So that piece I was showing you, I was going to put a picture in here. It's just like one of these little slivers right here. That's just a small part of a ring. This right here. And if I were able to zoom that, you'd be able to see. Okay? That right there is just one of them small little slivers like I showed you. Okay? That piece right there, like I showed you, is just one of these little pieces right here. All this you're seeing right here is just a fallen tree. So if you remember that mountain I just showed you that I zoomed in on way across the way. You look at a mountain at the difference, just like it looks like trees and dirt. Let's zoom in up here. You'll see it's all the same thing. You gotta understand how the tree breaks apart. It's like I showed you. See that? That is no different than that branch I just showed you. Okay? So you see how tall that is, and that space is there between that tree? So much of this is fallen away. But I was showing you right here, this is such a perfect example. Okay, this is a couple miles across the way. And you see the way it breaks down. Okay? This is just a giant, massive branch that fell. More than likely, okay, this whole deal right here is all one branch that fell. And then it started doing what that wood does, and I'll show you. Look close at it, okay? It's really important you understand this. See the way it breaks up? That might be a 300 foot, 400 foot diameter wide branch. Okay? Look at the way it breaks up. Okay? I want you to look close at it. And then a lot of it's fallen away. You go down on the mountain and you'll find it all. Okay, look at that close. Okay. Look at this close. Okay. So this is another giant part of a branch. And if I zoom in here, I were to show you, this is exactly the same thing, okay? But this is just part of a giant branch. And we're gonna go over there and take a look at it. Okay, just remember the mountain I just showed you. Take a close look at it. This is the exact same thing. But this is part of a branch. This whole thing here was part of a branch. Okay, and then them small pieces that fall off, like I showed you in the tree, the small modern day tree are just pieces like this that fall off. Okay, we got all our little pitties with us today. That's the shelter pitty. Gracie, what you got, girl? Huh? This is my fat girl Ruby. Had to put Allie down the day before Christmas, and still grieving over that. She was my number one. Bone cancer got her. But you see the characteristics of cedar. There's so many different examples, okay? But we're gonna go over here and take a look at this. I have footage of this, but I'm gonna do it again, so hold on. So that piece I tried to show you on the side of the hill over there, all it is just, this is a better thing, it was just one of these little slivers right here of a massive fallen branch. Okay, it was just one of these little slivers, okay? Or one of these little slivers. But you gotta imagine that thing's gonna be turned sideways. Roxy, get out of there. That's my other little pitty girl. She's just a baby. Got some carcass here. Anyway, we're gonna head on over there, okay? So hold on. So that's a little bit closer shot, okay? Remember that mountainside. Remember the tree, I showed you how it breaks apart. Okay, this is the exact same thing. I know I keep saying that. But all these pieces are the ones that just fall off. Okay? So you got to remember, this thing here is probably 50 foot tall, maybe taller. And this is just part of a branch that has fallen. Not part of the trunk, a branch, okay? You got to understand that. Okay, so we're going to go up and take a closer look, so hold on. Okay, we're up on it. And you see all the pieces here, okay? That's like one of them little slivers I just showed you, okay? And you can see the rings in the sliver. Same thing here. You know, they tell you about the biggest petrified tree in the world. It's tiny. I mean, it's about as big as that right here. It's such bullshit. Okay, take a look at this. You see how things have eroded and weathered. All this is missing. It used to be perfectly round at one time. All this is missing. It used to be perfectly round. And then it goes into the ground, and it goes way under the ground. And everything down below here is just a pileup of the same thing. Okay? Look at this close. Look at the rings. These are like them little things I showed you on the side of the mountain over there sticking out. Okay, it's just broken pieces. I know I keep saying the same thing over and over, but you know, if you were here to see this in person, you would understand. And all you got to do is go to your mountains. You may not see something like this, but it's everywhere. Everywhere in the world. It's in front of banks and apartments and businesses and homes. All it is remains of giant trees. This piece here is like a toothpick. It's so tiny. Even though this is a large piece, it's so tiny compared to what it came from. And you see this whole piece just goes into the ground, and it goes way, way under. So we're going to take a walk around the front of this and around the side. Okay, so hold on. Okay, I just moved over a little bit. I want to show you here from the side. So remember, this thing, all this is missing. Okay, it's just pieces laying everywhere. I mean, they're everywhere. They're under the ground. They're laying on top of the ground. Okay? And just remember how the tree breaks down and how it breaks apart. Okay? Just, and that up there, you see, this has been broke off. It wasn't naturally like the splits that you see, the straight splits. So hold on a minute. So maybe this frontal view will show you just how large these branches and trees were. So you got to remember here, all of this is missing. It's fallen away. Okay, and you see all the straight edges everywhere. And that up there was broke off. Okay? You see how large this is. Okay, this is all from a giant tree that soared into the heavens, higher than them clouds. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 miles, 200 miles into the air. And these are just parts of the branches. Do you see how massive this is? And this isn't even all of it. Like I said, all this is missing. And then it goes way down. That's just one branch. Okay? And it goes all the way back. Okay, I'm just going to keep this rolling here. We'll go over here. Okay? And we're going to go up on top. This is just a piece of it that fell off. You always have the flat edge. Okay? You see, always got the flat edges. That's just the way they break apart. You got tiny little pieces like this. Okay? And you see here, everything breaks off flat. And this goes way down under the ground. And it just keeps on going. Underneath this little mound right here is part of it. Everything out there underneath that grassland. Okay? So I'm going to pause this a second and go around and up. So hold on. So before I go around over there, I want to show you one more thing. So remember, this is a branch, okay? It's not a part of the tree. So you come back over here and turn around. See, all the pieces that fall off, okay? All the pieces that fall off. In no particular, there's flat here, a ledge. They have all kinds of different ways they fall off. Just like I showed you in all the pieces of trees. Okay? Just like in here. Okay? But now you get back over here and this is part of the source tree. Okay? That's still standing. All that back in here, if you were to radius this all the way around, that's how big it was. This is not fallen. This is part of the source tree, okay? And if you were to look close at it, you would see ring after ring after ring after ring. Okay? And a lot of it has fallen away, and each one of them is a ring, just like I showed you on them pieces of wood. So you see all the pieces that are standing up there, okay? I'm going to show you what that is. All you're looking at over there, you see the stump like the radius. All you're looking at are all these pieces standing up. And you see the rings here, okay? Rings are not like, they are like this, but there's different ways to look at it. But you see the rings, that's part of a ring. That's part of a ring. Okay, and when you get over here, you gotta know what you're looking at. Okay? Because they lie, you gotta really look at it, what I just showed you. Okay? Each one of them is a ring. See this? We're gonna go back over there and I'll show you. That's part of the source tree that reached 100 miles into the sky, to the heavens. You come back over here. Okay, you got to remember that, let me get on this side, that this is a ring, part of a ring. And you see other ones within it. You can't think about rings like that, because they go in, they go around. It depends on how these are a whole bunch of rings in here. But you got to understand here, these are just parts of rings. Some are missing. It's worn and weathered, it gets split. And when you come up here, once again, this is just part of the source tree. If you were to look at it from up above, it would be just like I just showed you, okay? You can go all the way back. There's a small piece there. You can go all the way back in there. These are just parts of rings. You can go all the way. Don't matter where you are, okay? So we're going to continue on around this this massive branch right here. Okay? So hold on a moment. So we're kind of on the low side over here, and I want you to just take a close look how these break off, okay? It's just like you seen in the earlier in the video, where underneath the ground it was coming out. Okay, but you can't see all this because it was buried by the grassland. You just seen parts of this sticking out. But you see how it all breaks off flat, okay? And I've already shown you plenty of examples of why and how it does it. And you see here, if you were to bring this out, there's part of it right here. And then it's everywhere. And this goes back into the ground here. It's all buried with vegetation. It goes across, all up over into here. Everything, all this grassland. Okay, you want to go back over here, some more that's exposed. Okay. In Ezekiel 31, it talks about the tree that when the wicked, evil nations destroyed the Assyrian, that the branches fell upon all the hills and valleys and mountains and waterways around on all nations. Okay, as well as all the other giant trees. Okay, so we're going to go all the way on the top. Okay, so hold on a moment. So just as I was walking up, it's everywhere. I mean, you'll see it all in that pile of wood. It's just what it does. But the branches that fall, you see what happens, why they have straight edges, and some of them are broken edges, but this is what's happening. Okay, anyway, so we're gonna head on up. Okay, so as we're going up, I just want to show you how everything coming down in the ground, it's just the top of this branch is exposed. Okay, this is so massive. And you look right there through the trees, and that's part of the source tree right there. Okay, when we get up top, I'll have a better shot of it. But take a look. This is the back side of it. Okay, let me go up further. Okay, on my way up I encountered this. So this is part of the this would be kind of like part of the source tree. And what I showed you way over there, part of the source tree, you see the rings just the way it is. Okay? And then like the Mount Rushmore, the president's faces, they find one spire of this giant tree and they engrave the president's face on it. Okay? That's all it is. And you see in there the way the tree breaks down. And that's all the pieces you see laying everywhere, okay? We're going to go up there on top, and I'll show you some incredible stuff, so hold on a moment. Well, on my way up, here's another cedar. Just look at the characteristics, okay? You see the rings. That's a modern day cedar. Okay, same as that. So here's that one I was just showing you. And you look at it, you can see the rings, okay? All the rings right here. Parts of rings. Just look at the characteristics of this modern day cedar. Okay, and like I was saying, the president's faces, they find one spear that's sticking up and they're going to carve the faces on it. But everything else around it is just part of the giant tree. Okay? So we're going to go up here. We're on the back side of what I just showed you. Okay, it's pretty incredible up there. So hold on. Okay, so I'm right here. And I just want to show you here how everything breaks off flat. Okay? Even the tiniest pieces. Let me get in the shade here. Even the tiniest pieces break off flat. Everything. Okay? Hello, Roxy. And there, you see here, everything breaks off flat. The characteristics of the modern day cedar. It's the same thing. Okay? So we're just gonna keep walking up here. I'll keep it rolling. Whew, wow. It's really, I'm gonna pause this so I can catch my breath. Hold on. Okay. So we're at the top. We were down here showing you the face of this. Got all the dogs up here. I hope they don't fall off. Anyway, so you see out there all the pieces and parts. And you look over there. Again, while I'm up here, this is all just part of the source tree. Okay? That's still standing. And this is like, I mean, this thing went miles, high enough to where it could be seen from all ends of the earth, okay? You see here, everything is, I don't want to get too far out here, but see, we were just down there, okay? But you can see here how this has broken off. Okay, this was snapped, and all the rest of the stuff has washed away or has been taken away. Get over here, girl. Okay, this is everything from down below. Get up here, girl. Okay, see this? That is just broken off. And then, you know, during the flood, a lot of this stuff got filled up and washed away, got buried. Just like today, a lot of the ancient civilizations and monolithic structures, they're buried, you know, over in Egypt and different parts of the world. So a lot of this stuff got washed away and buried during the flood, but these trees towered into the heavens, just like all the other plants and shrubs and bushes and vegetations were equally as large.
Oh my goodness.
Just like the Bible says. Okay, not the tectonic plates pushing these mountains up from the sea floor. That's a lie, a deception to discredit the Bible, God, and creation. Okay, you got to understand that. and it's no different than the round ball Earth flying through space. Okay, we live on a fixed, stationary, unmovable Earth. Okay, so we're gonna go up over here and take a look. Hold on. So this is what you see. So my daughter peeled a piece of this off. You know, it's deceiving because it's got moss and it's discolored. But when you peel a piece off, it actually looks like living wood. But that's what it originally looks like. All of this. Okay, and if you were to do the same with that, okay, that's not the original color. Okay, this was a cedar tree, but it's been weathered over thousands of years, and it's got moss and all these organisms living on it. It should look more like this, the brown. My shadow's in the way. You know, it should be more of the brown, just like that. Okay. Little Chicken Lou.
The Chicken Loop.
Chicken Lou and Ruby and Gracie, the new, hey Gracie, hey girl, the new shelter dog we pulled out 2 days ago, and that's Miss Roxy. Roxy, hi pretty girl. Yep, that's our pack. Anyway, so that's probably going to be it for here. I'll probably go down the other side here and I'll show you from the back side, so hold on. Okay, so we're back where we started on this one. I hope you can see how massive this branch is. Remember, you have the tree, you have a branch that comes off, and off the branch comes twigs. These are branches and twigs that you're seeing here. They're not part of a main tree, the main trunk, okay? It's not the main tree. Okay? And a lot of this stuff washed away with the flood. It got buried, it got displaced, but it's everywhere in the world, every state, every country, every town, every mountain, every national forest. You just got to open your eyes and look, and remember the way it breaks down. Okay? Look at old wood today, and look at the mountains. Okay? So we're going to leave this at that. We're actually going to go back to the place we were yesterday, because that's really one of the most incredible places I've found up to date. So I'm going to stop this here and continue when we get over there. So this is just a really quick example of, I pulled this off of, so you see the way this breaks down, okay? And you got the ledge, and then you got the rings, whether you're looking at it like this or like this, okay? It doesn't matter.
Where's it, Ruby?
Okay, and you see that? It's the same exact thing, but on a scale, literally a biblical scale. It is enormous. You see that? You see this, okay? You got to remember, this is thousands of years old since the flood. It's worn, weathered, smooth, rounded. Stuff is falling away. It's laying everywhere, okay? But this is a good example, another example, with these ledges, okay, and the rings, okay? You see here. This is so massive. I mean, this is thousands of feet from over there to over here. Just one massive branch that fell. It is enormous. I can't even begin to tell you. And then, like I showed you earlier in the video, this road, everything under the road and that grassland. You know, if you go back over here, you see just more of it here. Okay? And here, where it just goes under the ground. Okay? If you just look at this, you would never know. But you go there and here, everything. And these are just pieces from it. And you go up here. I can't tell you. This across here is probably 40 feet and 40 foot tall. It's just that piece, but it's this whole thing all the way back. Just giant tree limbs that have fell. And here you can see the modern day cedar. Got to understand how the tree breaks down. Okay, you see the rings. Just got to understand how the tree breaks down. All these pieces, why it's always flat. Okay, everything's sticking, protruding out of the ground. Same thing under this road. Out here. Okay. All these pieces down here. And up here, they're just tiny pieces. And remember how they break off flat. All the ledges. It's just so enormous. Alright, we're actually gonna climb up here and take a look and see what we can find. Alright, so we're climbing up. I want to show you a few things. So, this here is just a bunch of cedar that's fallen. Modern day. See the characteristics? So you see all them pieces in there? All they are, all these pieces, okay, are the same thing that you see here everywhere that I've shown you. This. Yeah, I know I've said that so many times, but okay, so we're gonna keep on headed up and we'll see what we find up there. But you see more the characteristics of the cedar, okay, the way it breaks down, okay. Alright, we're gonna keep moving up. Okay, there's cedar all along here. You know, God said He would never build the trees or have the trees grow as large as they did, and He preserved the seed, and we're left with what we have today. But you see the characteristics of it. It's the same thing, okay? Just on a different scale. This is fallen here. All that is fallen. Okay? But you look at it from the sides, you see it's the same.
Okay.
These were the giant cedars they talk about in the Bible. And they were all across this earth. Okay? We're standing up on one right here. But we're going to keep on headed up. And we'll see what we can find.
Come on, Roxy. Ruby, come on.
So I'm just going to give you an overview here. This is incredible. I just can't even... You see how things just fall away over time. And you see up underneath there where you actually see the color of the wood. Don't have all that moss on it. Okay? You just keep seeing all the rings. It's truly incredible. And if you keep watching this video and my other videos, you'll see everywhere we go, it doesn't matter if we're up on top of a 5-mile wide plateau, which is actually the trunk of a tree, a mesa plateau, and the columns. My videos explain everything. It's truly incredible. Alright, we're going to keep on headed up. Well, I kind of reached the side, and I'll just kind of give you an overview. All the stuff that we showed you from below is back that way. But you get up here to the side, you see how everything's just buried. And so many things protruding out everywhere. The whole mountainside for miles upon miles. we're going to keep on headed up there. But you see out here, everything under this grassland for as far as the eye can see, for miles upon miles, it's just remains of the giant trees. So we're going to head up this way and take some more footage. Okay, so hold on. So actually, I'm just going to keep you walking with me, and you have to excuse any breathing that's heavy walking up the mountain. I just want you to see this stuff as we go. I mean, if you had the peripheral vision I have here, it is beyond incredible. I mean, all these pieces that are as big as vehicles, apartment buildings. And like I say, they're not. So here's a modern day cedar. Okay, it's about 18 inches in diameter. And that's the actual tree. But what you're seeing here are parts of the branches and the twigs. Okay? These things, the branches and twigs, not the main tree. There's the main tree right here, watch. That's still standing upright. All that there, and all this back over there, that's all part of the main tree. It could have been 10 miles in diameter, maybe bigger, I don't know. And all the branches just fell. A lot of it washed away during the flood. And it just piled up. This whole mountain is the remain of the giant trees. Okay? We'll just keep on going up. There you go. What a shot. Okay? This is just part of it. That's probably 2 miles from over here to over here. And it goes even further to the right. But that is part of the core of the tree that reached into the heavens. Okay? That stuff there is no different than what I've been showing you. Okay? This is just what's still remains. It's standing. It's pretty incredible. And that's like the outer, I consider that the outer part of the tree. Or it could be the center part, I don't know. But the tree was enormous. I mean, it went literally up into the heavens. And then it just fell. And then petrified, it was destroyed. The Bible says that Enoch, that the angels labored at the trees. And then Assyrian in Ezekiel 31 talks about how the tree, that evil wicked nations destroyed it, and its branches fell upon all nations, all valleys, all rivers, all mountains. People think that's a fairy tale, but I'm telling you, I'm showing you it. I have so much footage and documentation, it's incredible. I mean, it don't matter where you're at. It's just piled up, and what you see is just laying on top of the ground. Everything below is still the remains. It's just under it, all the pieces and parts. I'm gonna keep on going up. We'll go right down over here. We're kind of at the top, but hey, there's a old cedar right there. So if this was laid over sideways, okay, you see that you'd be seeing the same thing as that right here. But the branches, okay? Branches that were hundreds of feet in diameter, okay? Not this main tree. It's important that you understand that. You see this large piece? I mean, we're on the top, so it's kind of hard. It's better to see it from the front facing. But I've shown you all that earlier. We're on the top of everything. Anyway, I'm going to pause it here. I'll actually just keep you walking with me, okay? We're kind of going down a little bit, okay? Like I say, we're on the top of it. We're not where you can see the face of it. But the little pieces I was holding in my finger from the tree, that would be the equivalent right here. And that's probably 25 foot tall. Okay? All these. You come right over here. Yeah, it might be a little steep for the dogs over here. Okay. See, when you get in front of it, you can see it instead of looking over it. And this right here is is like standing up here on top of it.
Gracie.
Okay, so we're gonna go up and around. You see here, this is the other side of that one. See this right here? When I was holding them pieces in my hand, it's the same thing.
Come here.
Same here.
Come here, go. Come here, Gracie. Come here, Gracie. Come on. Come on. Gracie, come on. Gracie, come on. Come on.
You know, and then pieces fall off like this here. Get away from there, girl. You got all these pieces down there, they just fall off. Come on, girls, let's go. Alright, we're gonna go up and around over there. Hold on. So here's a couple kind of cool pieces. They're not very big, but just shows you how the tree breaks apart again. So when I showed you all the quartz coming out of the tree, okay, and I said most likely it's a knot. So this here is a piece of sap that was draining out. So it's possible that sap, maple, something created the quartz. And the things you see in the tree, the different stones and precious metals or quartz, that somehow it turned into the quartz, like crystallized. I don't know, but this is a ball of sap. Okay? So you get a tree that's 5-10 miles in diameter with branches that are hundreds of feet in diameter. Well, you're not going to have little sap balls like this. You're going to have massive veins of that stuff. And you get over here, it just goes down and down and down. And you can just see the ring after ring. The same thing you see today. Okay? It goes down. So we're just going to walk over here. I'm telling you, if you had the peripheral vision here that I had, it's truly the most incredible thing you'll ever see in your life. The only thing that could possibly be compared to this is finding Noah's Ark or seeing Jesus come in the clouds. I'm telling you, it's that incredible. This proves the lie of their seafloor tectonic plates pushing up. Okay? And like I say, I don't care where you're at in the world, what city, state, country, what mountain range, what national forest, it's all the same. Just different types of tree that are all cedar. Some of them are vegetation or plants or bushes that were also giant. Okay? So, look at this big cedar tree here that's dead. So everything you're seeing here, all these pieces, they are from the branches, not the main tree. Okay, all that back here is all part of the main tree. Everything down below these mountains, for however far down, is the pile up. And everything you see here is just what remains on top. Okay? It's absolutely incredible. It just goes on and on and on. So here there's a few things I want to show you. So we know that maple syrup and there's sap in trees, and I don't know how the trees were back before the flood, the silicon and carbon based trees, but you see here, this is all the sap and stuff coming out of the tree. Well, you really see that around, like the sweating out of it, around knots and joints in a tree. But then you come over here and you see this is a modern day cedar, and you look in here and you just see the same breakdown. Okay, and then you see the rings. Okay, not rings like looking down at a stump. Okay, so everything you're seeing is just pieces and parts from the branches in the tree. And you look at the texture. Okay, look at the texture of the cedars. You come over here. Okay, all these pieces laying on the ground, just tiny little slivers. Okay, you see the texture right there. See the texture of the cedar. It's only about 18 inches in diameter. Okay, same thing, except this has the moss on it. Okay, these are the trees that God preserved that have already died. And you see here, we're just going to take a little walk around up here. Okay, it's just all what's on top of the pile. I know I keep saying that, but you know, this is something that very few people know about, and very few people have seen that really know what they're looking at. Okay? So all of them lies with the history books and NASA and science and all the CGI documentaries about creation and the Big Bang and the sea floor pushing up, creating the mountains. You got to understand the implications of that, okay? It's all a lie. And you come right here, this is a beautiful shot. This is your source tree, okay? The remains of it that's still standing. Actually, I'm going to get a better shot of it. Hold on a minute. Okay. So I don't know if this would be like the center core, what you're looking at, the outside perimeter. It's hard telling. Okay, so what you see there is the same thing that I've been showing you. This has not fallen. It's still standing upright. The same as you see at the monument with the president's faces. Okay? They picked one little section out that's standing up, like the spires, the spears, and they carved the face on it. They're just remains of the trees. And that's part of the source tree. It is enormous. I can't even begin to tell you the size of it. This thing towered, it could have been hundreds of miles into the air. The Bible said they could be seen from all ends of the earth. Okay? And all these things are just pieces and parts. and you see the tree here that's still standing. Everything down here below, for miles down, is just a buildup of this tree. You know, it's incredible. And you remember I showed you how the tree breaks apart. This is just a little tiny example. And you come here, this piece just recently broke off, and you see the actual color. Okay, if you break this off, let me see if it'll break off. No, nothing will break off. Okay, when you see the actual color, it's not actually that moss color, okay? But you look at the cedar trees today, okay? But the implications of this is incredible. And you don't have to come here, it don't matter where you're at. It's the same everywhere. There were giant trees and plants and shrubs and bushes across this entire earth. Not the spinning ball that's flying through space. Hey. This is just small remnants that still remain. I just can't explain how incredible this is. And there's just a small part of the source tree that still remains. Can you imagine how high that went up into the air? Being 10 miles in diameter, maybe bigger, maybe smaller. I said it before, but in Ezekiel 21 it talks about the tree that all the birds of the air, all the beasts of the field, and all human ate from this tree. And it was food for all flesh. And then the tree was handed over to wicked, evil nations. And it was destroyed. And all the branches that once shadowed all nations fell upon all the nations, in all the hills and valleys and waterways. Okay, and you're going to see a lot of that up in everywhere in the world. Okay, just put it that way. There's no particular spot; it's everywhere. Okay, even this stuff on the ground that people just see rocks laying around. Okay, they were trees. They turned to stone. They petrified. Different wood, hardwood, softwood. Petrifies different. Not everything is the same. So you just remember what I'm showing you here, what I'm telling you, because it's the truth. Okay? It's a spiritual battle. They hide God in creation. And that's pretty much what it comes down to. Alright. It's a beautiful day out. Real clouds. Beautiful blue sky. It's about 65, 70 degrees. It's just perfect. Let's go take a look over here. It's my shelter dog. Yeah, it's pretty incredible stuff. I know it all looks the same, but it's not. Every piece is different. Alright, we're going to leave it at that. And we're going to journey on, and this is how they break apart, just like I showed you in the tree. Okay? Everything. Before we leave this area, I want to give one more overview of what's left of the tree still standing. And this is what's left. Everything else is fallen. And you come over here, like I showed you. I've showed you many times, but every example I show you is just more documentation. So you see, when a branch falls, what it does, okay? And then during the flood, Okay, whether it was along the roadway or wherever, you'll see a branch like this along the roadway, which I've already shown you, where you see it just like that. Okay, and then all these pieces that fall to the ground and during the flood got dispersed and buried. All these pieces like this, hey, that's all you're seeing everywhere laying around. And this is why most of them have a flat edge. And then the flood dispersed them and buried them. And just what you see protruding out of the ground is what's left, and it's everywhere. And like I say, it don't matter what state, what country, what mountain range, what national forest. It's just different, okay? This is what you're seeing here, all the pieces that were buried and dispersed. You know, and then you look at the characteristics of the cedar, okay? All the rings, just the way it is. Right? It's the same exact thing. Except this is weathered and worn and eroded, smooth, rounded. Much has fallen away. Okay? So from there you get all this. It's just smooth and rounded and weathered and eroded, and much of it's fallen away. Okay? You see the characteristics. It's the same thing. And there's the actual color. Okay? This is what it would look like, but on a massive scale. So like I said, all these ledges and squares and pieces that split apart, okay? All that, and how it breaks off flat and straight. Okay? This is why, right here, okay, it's the same exact thing, but on a scale that's so massive, so incredible. Well, you see the scale right here, okay? That's just a small portion of what's still remaining of this tree, okay? And like I say, it's everywhere, worldwide. You just got to know what you're looking at. When they break off flat, that's all it is, okay? And you look at the characteristics of that to the cedar today, it's the same thing. It's beyond incredible. Better find a way down, girl. And it goes on and on and on. Same thing. So my battery just died on me, but I'm gonna walk you down with me. Okay, here you see here. It's the same thing. We're just walking down. And when you get in the front of them, you see what you're looking at. It is so massive. I can't even begin to tell you what it's like looking at it with a peripheral vision. See all these tiny little pieces. They just break off slivers everywhere. See, it's just... And I still got another 100 yards to go down, and it's just continuous like this every step of the way. Okay, I'm going to go down over here because that's a drop off there. See everything in the ground. Here are the little chipmunks. Okay, we'll go down right here. You see back up in there. It is so massive. And like I say, it's not just here, it's worldwide. If you're from Colorado, drive down I-70. I mean, we're just going to keep you walking just so you kind of can see. Well, walking down's a lot easier than walking up. Just massive pieces and parts. And we're back here again. I'll just show you this, how the roadway, everything under it. You can look at waterfalls and waterways and everywhere in the water, in front of banks, apartment buildings, schools. Okay, we're just going to end it here. But if you Google how big the biggest tree in the world is, or the biggest piece of petrified wood, it's just more lies. Look at how massive these are. Okay, we're going to go to a completely different spot. I've been there before. There's some really amazing quartz veins. That's part of the tree. It comes from the tree. All right, so we're going to head over there now.